Welcome to the Voice Boxes podcast with vocal coach Nettie Rose and speech pathologist Jennifer Kellams, where they discuss the mysterious world of vocal health and encouragement for anyone who uses their voice.
Hi, welcome to the Voice Boxes. My name is Nettie Rose.
And I'm Jennifer Kellams.
Today we're going to be talking about subglottal pressure. Now, what on earth is subglottal pressure?
No idea. No.
Right? What is that? What is that? Well, basically, it's the pressure that exists underneath where the vocal folds are located in the larynx. And it's a buildup of that air as it's trying to pass through. And when the vocal folds come together, they're creating kind of like a seal. So one of my favorite things to talk about in that kind of regard is a balloon. And you know when we fill up a balloon and it kind of gets kind of big, and then the opening and we squeeze it and all of a sudden it goes kind of like that really nasty, ugly sound. Well, it's that backed up pressure that's happening with the air that's going to be able to be pushed through that whatever opening you give it. That is like what the subglottal pressure is. So
kind of like the same concept like of a hose. Like you like put your thumb over the hose and there's more pressure from the water and it scoots out further. So now in medical world, we use subglottic pressure typically when a patient has like a vocal cord paralysis, like after a traumatic intubation, not your typical intubation. I've already pissed off one anesthesiology intubation nurse by saying like, I'm a little worried about what you're going to do to me. And she bruised my uvula over it. I don't know. I don't think it was actually intentional, but I wonder. I'm like,
She just dinged you on the inside?
Yeah. I'm like, my incisions don't hurt, but man, my throat does. Oh, my uvula's bruised.
Oh.
But
So sad.
a typical intubation won't have any issues. But if you have like a very traumatic intubation or it's you're intubated for a very long time, you might have some vocal cord paralysis or paresis where they're just not moving as much. And so in the medical world, we will use some subglottic pressure, typically like pressing or pulling down or pulling up on like a chair rail just to create more movement of the muscles around the vocal cords to try to get them closer together to and oomph them together.
Yeah. It's kind of like trying to encourage them.
Yes.
To get,
Yeah. Now do that 10 times and then, yeah. Yes. As you're pushing or pulling. Yeah.
Right. No, that's very important though. I mean, and honestly, when it comes to singing and speaking as well, there is the tendency to push too hard.
Absolutely.
And then to create too much subglottal pressure that pushes against the vocal folds, causing more tension. And it could be the other way around. So like with the paralysis aspect of things, there's also the breathiness. And some people don't bring their vocal folds together quite enough. And then that subglottal pressure does not build up enough to create a little bit more impact. So dynamics are very, very much altered if you don't have your vocal folds touching correctly. Or I shouldn't say correctly, I should say balanced.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can definitely see, when you're having to use your voice and project. And if you don't have really good diaphragmatic breath, you're going to try to get that support from somewhere. And I can definitely see a lot of people straining their voice or using the tension in their throat in order to get your voice to project like the water or like that balloon. Just, let me push it further. But you're doing that from creating tension here versus creating tension in your diaphragm.
Right, exactly. They're taking the muscles in the neck and overusing them instead of using that diaphragmatic push from the abdominal area to push the air pressure to make it more intense against the vocal folds to create that loudness, So I think a lot of people find that, okay, well, the throat or the larynx is where my voice exists. And therefore, I'm going to go ahead and intensify it and make it just like that. And that's what contributes to that. But I would like to, point to the fact that, when somebody does, like I did that story about, I think the Taekwondo thing and the aya, right? And when you hear somebody do that, if you were to mimic them, how would you actually be able to do that imitation? You actually have to engage your gut, basically, your diaphragm. You have to engage that abdominal wall. And when you do something like that, you can try it at home and just go, oh, like that. That comes from there, the diaphragmatic aspect of it, not the musculature in the larynx. But the musculature in the larynx has to be where they bring the vocal folds together enough. So that does have something to do with it. Otherwise, if you had nothing there, it would be an H, like a. It wouldn't have any vocal sound behind it. So it's not like the larynx has nothing to do with it. It's just this pressure from the abdominal wall and the diaphragm. No, they have to work cohesively together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really think, like you said, people think like, well, if my throat is here, then that's what I have to tense up. Just like if I'm going to like be able to lift things, I need to lift my muscles. But your vocal cords they have muscles around them, but they're just like tissue. They're like reeds on an instrument. Your actual voice comes from your lungs and the support and the muscles in and around your lungs to create that enough pressure to push air through and past your vocal cords. So actually your system is your diaphragm and that's your foundation.
Yeah. Right. Because we wouldn't be able to inhale or exhale without the diaphragm doing what it needs to do. There are the intercostal muscles, the extracostal muscles that are in between your ribs that have that same kind of action to be able to inhale and exhale. So those are the muscles, and then your diaphragm, where it pulls the tissue of the lungs down into the cavity where you can actually expand. So it's like if you don't understand the science, sometimes it makes it more difficult to implement using your voice in a good way. So once you understand how it really does work, then you're able to like, oh, okay, so maybe I am using my larynx a little bit too aggressively, or maybe I'm not giving myself a little bit more oomph, especially on the ends of our phrases when we're speaking and all of a sudden we're just like,
All of my voiceovers in that way. And we're going to go over here now.
The fizzle out. There's a little bit left in there that you can probably utilize without sounding like you're choking or dying by the end of it. So it's like just that tiny little push through at the very, very end. You can learn to utilize it to your advantage.
So let's talk about some exercises or strategies that we could apply right now to start controlling our airflow and not using our throats to create good subglottic pressure or to create good airflow and good air pressure.
Yeah. You know what you just mentioned with the exercises that those who are suffering from paralysis in their vocal folds and having that kind of like, I don't want to call it a grunt, but kind of like a little bit more of the kind of thing.
The adduction. We're going burp, burp, burp.
I love when you do that, by the way. I really do. I'm not going to lie. I so like it.
If you guys are just listening, make sure you watch the video. My hands become vocal cords.
So cute, man. I cannot, honestly. I get giddy every single time. I couldn't hold it back that time. But okay, so what were we saying?
We were talking about adduction, the vocal cord adduction exercises.
Bringing in the vocal folds. Okay, so the adduction portion of things is where your vocal folds come together. Abduction is when they go apart when you take an inhalation. So when you're exhaling and you're actually making a phonation, when you're making sound, then they come together. Adduction. Addition, like adduction. That's how I always remember it, because otherwise I'd get it wrong on a test. I'd flip them or something.
Same.
But, yeah. So with the air that you need and the adduction process of the vocal folds coming together, there are moments like if you do one note and you sustain it, and you can do it with spoken or you can do it with a note as singing. But if you were to do a spoken one, it'd be like E, and then you want to squeeze like really hard and try to take your diaphragm and just like almost like the Heimlich maneuver, just the kind of thing. And then to feel that change, that's what you want to do as an exercise. Then you want to do that, but do it gently and see how long you can sustain that pushing effect. and make sure that you feel comfortable doing it. And it's not existing in the larynx, but it's existing in your diaphragmatic area. So that's one exercise to kind of get everybody to understand, okay, this is how it sounds with growth, with loudness, this kind of push. Or if you do the e, and I don't know how well that's going to pick up.
It's beautiful. It came out so beautifully.
Did it?
Yeah.
So that push will really, really expand your ability to get loud. And then if your vocal folds are balanced, then that will also give you sustainability and be able to last as long as you need to last for certain phrases. And the best way I like to do for sustaining a phrase is do the phrase, whatever it is that you need to do, with a normal pacing. Then take that same phrase, do it again, but do it with a very, very slow pace. Like really, really slow, and try to make it to the end. Then do it back in the normal pace. And you'll notice that you have plenty of air by the end of it, because now you've trained your body to do it slower and longer. So that's a little trick that I like to tell my students.
Yeah. I think, just, anatomically, physiology, all of that, like we breathe, our tidal breath is about 30% above our reserves. And then the peak of our tidal breath is 30% below our peak. So we actually have reserves at the very bottom and the very top. So I always have my patients, when they're working on breath support, I love having patients blow bubbles in 5 centimeters of water, which is the amount of pressure you need in order to produce voice or sound. So, grab a water bottle, blow bubbles for as long as you can. I love doing that exercise, but make sure you're supporting it from, your tummy muscles, and you can really feel that. And then you're going to get to a point where you're like, I have no more air. But you do. And you're going to keep going, and you're going to keep squeezing, and that's when you really want to start engaging your diaphragm and the muscles around your ribs, and just squeeze till it hurts. And you'll notice you can go a lot longer than you think you can, especially the more you exercise and work out in those reserves. That's where your strength is.
Yep. Yeah, because your body is like building endurance, or like if somebody is working out with weights, you might not be able to do more than 10 pounds. And then you eventually go to 20, and then you go to 25. It's that kind of thing. You have to allow your body to adjust and get used to it. And it's conditioning your body to do these things.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right. Well, if you guys have any questions about subglottic pressure, vocal cord, throat tension, other ways of using your diaphragm and your aero system healthily, that's a word now.
I do that all the time too.
Yes. Shoot us an email, write something in the comments, and we will address it on a future episode, or we'll just comment back to you, because we're happy to do that. So thanks for tuning in.
Yes. Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
See you later.
The Voice Boxes Podcast, all about vocal health and hot topics. You got questions? They got answers. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Until next time, may a healthy voice be with you.